Hi and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Sunday, January 31st, 2016. This is episode 242. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week, and if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show and you'll come back in the future. So as we stated last week, Callie is not with me this week. She is up in the Chicagoland area visiting a friend, so she needs a little rest and relaxation and whatnot. So we'll forgive her for that for this week. So it's going to be a relatively short show, I think, this week. I do have things to show, but I don't think I have anything that's looming over my head to get done. So let's do a quick week in review then, shall we? I taught all week. It was a very long week. It seemed like it never would end. By Wednesday, it felt like it should have been Friday. So I have another full week this upcoming week, and I plan on going to knit night on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I have to stay late at work till 7:30 because we have our first night of parent-teacher conferences. So the nice thing is we get to vote when we want to do parent-teacher conferences, like what days, if we want to do 2 evenings, if we want to do an evening and a morning. And ever since we were given the opportunity to vote, we've always done 2 nights so that we can get the Friday that's scheduled for parent-teacher conferences off, because the kids have no school, but it's a parent-teacher conference day, so we try to get that day off so we don't have to go to work either. So I don't think there was anything else of note. Went to my mom's and had dinner on Friday. It was nice. And then yesterday we did a belated birthday day out with my mom. So we took her out to lunch, and then she went with us to go shopping. We got a new pot and pan set, some new curtains for downstairs, and a couple clothes at Kohl's. Not that we really needed them, but is what it is. So that was about it. Nothing really exciting this past week. Just a lot of coming home and working and dyeing yarn and teaching and grading. Well, let's get to the knitting. I've been rambling on for 2.5 minutes. Jeez. So I don't have anything new to show you that's off the needles, but I promised that I would show you my Miss Wisp by Rosemary Hill. Blocked this week, and I did block it this week, so I thought I'd show it to you. I posted some pictures to Instagram this morning of some of my recent FOs. So here it is, blocked in all of its glory. So it's still not a huge shawl, but I am much happier with it now than I was before. So still can be a nice shawl length, but at least it's got that going on. So that's that. This was knit out of Knit Picks palette in the J colorway and Lediman Fiber Arts Show Stealer in a director's interpretation, so one of a kind. This was knit on a size 3 and 4 US, I believe, which is a 2.75 and 3 mil. No, that's not right. 3.25 and 3.5 millimeters. So that's that. So I'm pleased with it. Like I said, it'll probably be a donation to the Super Summer Knit Together's special charity raffle that they do. And I did get it posted to the Knit Along. Today was the final day, and I woke up this morning, had some coffee, and was like, all right, I got to get some pictures taken. So I did that. Got that done. So that's all that's taking a bow this week. So what's performing? The first thing is my Portage sweater by Melissa Shishwari. I'm using Elsbeth Levold Silky Wool in color number 65, which is spruce, and knitting it on a sizes 5, 6, and 7 US. So I've been working on the sleeve, and I need to give this more love. But I did finish the I finished the decreases, I think, last week, and I started the ribbing, and again, you do about 4 inches of ribbing. I think mine's just under, and then you do a knit round, and then you do another 4 inches so that it can essentially fold back. Okay. So I tried this on last night. I was like, okay, it's long enough. The sleeves are very fitted. I may need to get a gray, actually I did buy a gray long sleeve Henley yesterday that I might wear under this, because I'm pasty white and you can kind of see when the fabric stretches in the arm, you can see, my skin through it. So the gray might balance it off a little bit better. So I did go down to a 5 for the ribbing, and I'm doing magic loop, which I'm never usually a huge fan of, but it seems to be working. I think I've got the hang of it pretty well. So I worked on this while watching some TV with my leading man yesterday. So I just need to finish this off and then pick up the second sleeve and finish that off, and then that'll be done. I really would like this to be done by the time I go to Knitting Pipeline at the end of February. So I think it'll be a nice layering piece, but nothing too warm while I'm there. Alright, the second thing is the Totally Tubular Year in Review Cowl for 2015. I'm using Lady Men Fiber Arts Show Stealer in a 2015 Year in Review mini skein set. And I'm on the second to last color. These are 10-gram mini skeins. And these are all the colors that came out in 2015 as our colorways of the month. So I'm knitting them in a tube. And then I'm going to add some London Fog, some gray, and have this be like the front piece of the cowl, and then graft the two ends together. So again, we have Beanstalk, Masquerade, Punk Rock Highlights, Boyhood, OMG Squee, Venetian Sunset, Mornings in the Backyard, Kaleidoscope, and then I'm adding on the Turkey Run colorway, which was November. Then I have one more color to add. So not much love on this week, but I'm still enjoying it. And if you are watching this today, if you're one of those right on the podcast viewers, this is the last day to order either the mini skein or the full 10-pack full skein option. Today's the last day for pre-orders. So I did post about that on Instagram. And we won't be doing another year in review set until next January. We'll be doing whatever we come up with this year. So it was a good idea on Andy's part. I'll give him that. So alright, the next thing I'm working on are my Shamrockin' socks. I'm using Knitterly Things Vesper sock yarn in the Shamrockin' colorway on a size 1 US, which is 2.25 millimeter. And I am very close to getting to the toe of the second sock. So I've been working down the foot. You can see the afterthought heel line right there. And I think I have probably about another 10 or 11 rounds to go. And then I'll do my typical rounded toe. And then I will pick out the afterthought ripcord and put in the heels. I don't have much yarn left, so I have some extras that I had to rip out. I'm not going to plan the heels. I'm not going to match the heels. It'll give each sock a little bit of personality. But when they're on, you really won't be able to tell the difference from the front of the foot, if that makes sense. And I think I may do self-striping socks like that from now on. We'll see how I like them. But I kind of like that they're somewhat different in the heel. It gives each sock a personality, but then, down the front of the leg and into the foot, they're both going to match exactly. So last on my needles is Midnight Ocean by Louise Zass Bangham. And I showed you this as a future cast on last week. I'm using Twisted Fiber Art Aerial Base in a large evolution in the Gypsy colorway. And I don't know where all this fur and hair is coming from. Maybe because I put it on the ground. But there's some dog hair on it. Anyway, so I've just started. I'm still on the first color, no transitions. I'm doing a simple lace repeat for the collar. I can't talk today. On some wooden needles, because I needed a size 6 and a 24 inch, and my signatures are a 32, and it was just a bit too long to knit at this circumference. So I've got the signatures ready to go once I start increasing and I can fit it on there, but it calls for a size 7 on fingering weight, but the recommendation on behalf of Twisted Fiber art was to go down to a 6. So they give modifications that they did to their shop sample, which is what I'm basing my project off of. So that's it. That's all that I have to show you in works in progress. I did add a little bit to my fingering weight granny square blanket, but not much, and I forgot to bring it up. So, all right, what's in rehearsal? I don't have anything immediately on deck other than I'm going to knit a banner day by Megan Williams of Stockinette Zombies, and I'm going to be using a skein of Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper in Metamorphosis that we've had sitting around. So I'm going to be casting that on once I finish the tubular cowl, I think. Alright, my spinning. I am currently spinning Leading Men Fiber Arts BFL Silk in the Swamp Thing colorway, and with that, I'm plying Polworth in the Dreamweaver colorway. So I just started plying this morning, and I thought I would try to pick up my wheel and show you some of the barber pulley goodness. So you can see the green and the blue barber pulling together throughout. The green is the BFL Silk, the blue is the Polworth. So that's that. And so I should have a finished skein to show you tomorrow. If I podcasted every day, I wouldn't have to work, right? Right? Next week, I'll show you a finished skein. So I did pull my next commission spin, and it is Diabolical's Polworth Silk, 85% Polworth wool, 15% Tussa silk in the Caucus Race colorway. And I figured, well, boy, that sure is kind of a timely and appropriate for what's going to be happening very soon here in Iowa. I don't stay up to date on all that much news and all that much in politics. I have my views. Whether they're all that well informed, I don't know. Needless to say, I won't bring it into the podcast. But if a certain person wins, I'm moving to Canada. Anyway, no joke. So this is the Caucus Race colorway. I have not worked with anything from Diabolical, and I don't think I've spun any... I've worked with her yarn. I've never spun her fiber, I don't believe. No, that's wrong. I did spin some fiber. One of the first things I spun was Diabolical. So it's been a while, though. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to do a 2-ply fractal spin on this. I did get to see some pictures of the person that I've been spinning for, Carla. She is... or was at the January Thaw Retreat hosted by Sun Valley Fibers, and saw she was knitting on some hand-spun socks that I had spun up. So I was like, felt pretty spiffy. Anyway, so that's going, and that's what's coming up on the wheel. Alright, what am I watching and reading? I'm still watching Teachers on TV Land. I highly recommend it. If you want to just sit down, I sit down before, like when I get home on Thursdays. It comes on Wednesday at like 10:30 at night. I know that's late. If you got a DVR, DVR it. But I come home on Thursday in the afternoon, early evening, and before I go to dying, I was like, Andy, just give me my half hour, and I sit and I watch this show, and it just makes me laugh, and it kind of helps take that stress away of my job. And being a teacher, I do find a lot of the humor in it, and it's nice to be able to laugh at it. So I highly recommend the show. Also, yesterday we caught up with X-Files, the new installment. So we watched the first and second episodes. I'm not sure, seeing as they aired 2 nights in a row, whether that's the first episode, like the first of the 6, or if those are the first 2 of the 6. It's only a 6-episode event. I really think they're doing a feeler to see if there's enough interest to invest into a new season. I don't know. We'll see. But there's a lot of new old shows coming back for installments. So I did watch a movie this week on Netflix. I felt like, I'm just going to invest in a movie. So I watched Visions. It was one of the things, one of the featured movies on Netflix when you open up the webpage. It stars Isla Fisher, or Isla, I don't know how you pronounce it. It has Sheldon from Big Bang in there in a couple scenes, and Ava Longoria is in there in a couple scenes. It was alright. Basically, Isla Fisher they move to a winery, her and her husband, and she gets pregnant. She starts having visions, and they think she's going crazy, and it was alright. So I enjoyed it for some cheap entertainment one evening while beginning the Midnight Ocean that I started that night. Alright, what am I reading? I did finish 2 books via Audible this last week. The first one was called Bad Games by Jeff Menapace, and this is part of the... what part of it is it? The Bad Games series. And here is the quick synopsis. Participation is not an option. The Lambert family is heading to Crescent Lake, a rural cabin community in western Pennsylvania, for an idyllic weekend getaway. Some fishing, some barbecues, some games. The Finelli brothers are heading to Crescent Lake too. Some stalking, some kidnapping, some murder, definitely some games, though not necessarily the type of games the Lamberts had in mind. But it doesn't matter. The Lamberts are going to play whether they like it or not. An intense psychological thriller, Bad Games has the dark, mind-bending chills of the bad seed, combined with the fish-out-of-water dread and suspense of deliverance. So let Jeff Menapace's highly anticipated novel keep you up all night as it delves into the mystery of nature versus nurture when comprehending the evil in man, along with the will and determination an innocent family must summon to fight back against horrific odds. So, I thought it was decently good. I gave it 3 stars on Goodreads. There are some points where you question whether humankind can be that horrific. And you know they can. I mean, these types of things do happen in our world, unfortunately. But just reading about it and reading about the inner workings of the mind and what the people are thinking when they perform these actions are a little chilling. There were times I was like, ooh, or... yeah, but. Was it the best writing? No, that's why I only had given it 3 stars, but it's got 3.7 stars on Goodreads, so there's that. I did finish another novel that is one of my 6 novels that my students are reading as part of their sustained silent reading this semester, and I had not read this one. I know it is a classic, and it is called Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. I'm sure plenty of you have read this or know about it, but I'll read you again the synopsis. Fair and long-legged, independent and articulate, Janie Crawford sets out to be her own person. No mean feat for a black woman in the 30s. Zora Neale Hurston's classic 1937 novel follows Janie from her nanny's plantation shack to Logan Killick's farm, to all-black Eatonville, to the Everglades, and back to Eatonville, where she gathers in the great fishnet of her life. Janie's quest for her identity takes her on a journey during which she learns what love is, experiences life's joys and sorrows, and comes home to herself in peace. I know one of the challenges some of my colleagues and my students are having with the actual written text is that it is written in the dialect. There is very strong dialect in the novel, and so that can be hard to read. I listened to it. I thought the narrator of the novel did an excellent job. The book itself, I did not care for. I gave it 2 stars. I know, shocking. Some people, they love this book. It is a love story of sense. I did not care for Janie. I did not care for the protagonist. I felt like she was whiny. I felt like nothing was ever good enough for her. I don't know. I didn't care for the development of the character. Yeah. So I only gave it 2 stars on Goodreads. I didn't really care for it. I know people will enjoy it. I know some of my students are enjoying it once they get past the dialect thing, but not my cup of tea. So I'm glad I read it. I'm glad I, forced myself to expand my horizons in genres of literature, but not for me. So but I can't have all books that I like in my classroom, so. Anyway, I do have some stash enhancement. I got my Three Waters Farm Top of the Month Club for February, even before February came. So if you haven't received yours yet, this is a spoiler. I'm going to show it. You need to fast forward about 30 seconds. Are you gone? Okay. So, this month's fiber was Organic Polworth Top in the colorway Light in the Trees. And again, I'm not disappointed. So here it is. All the colors of wonderfulness. So that'll be fun to spin up once I get around to it. So I enjoy that. I highly recommend their Top of the Month Club. If you are not part of it and you enjoy spinning and you're looking for a club, they are extremely reasonable. They always offer you club members to purchase more, or they always do a coordinated color. So if you're looking to do like the two colors and apply them together, they do a good job with that. All right, really quickly, I want to talk about a product that was given to me for the podcast and for review, I guess, but more as a gift to me and Callie. Callie's had hers, and they also gifted one to you guys to give away. So this is going to be our giveaway this week. But this comes from Prairie Bag Works, and she is out of Central Illinois as well. And I had the pleasure of meeting Sue at the trunk show we did at Les Moutons Rouge Knittery. So what this is this is called a DPN wrapper, and it's pretty much a DPN holder for your works in progress. So if you're working on DPNs, you can unbutton the buttons that are in here, and they have a wonderful logo on the inside. Love this fabric, by the way. It's super cute. But you unbutton it, you then put your DPNs with the work in progress in it, and then you button underneath the DPNs, and it holds it, and they can't fall out, and your work comes out the bottom. So, and what's really nice is her back of her card, she's got the Kitchener stitch on there, so in case you are one who forgets that easily, I've never had an issue with it, but I kind of was able to commit that to memory once I did it the first time. But highly recommend these. They seem to be very well made, extremely affordable. I'm gonna link to her Etsy website. She has a ton of stock of bags, these DPN wrappers, and other products there, so definitely check it out. I know she will also be vending at the Knitting Pipeline Retreat, so if you are going, she will be there as well. So I am going to put one of these, I haven't one of these exactly, to give away this week on the show. And so I'm going to open up a thread. You must be a member of the group in order to be eligible to win. One post per person, please. And the thread is going to ask you, what project would you do on DPNs that you would need this for? So I would appreciate it if you would link to the pattern. And if you need help with that, you can always look up there's like a help thread on Ravelry on how to hot link to patterns. Pictures would be greatly appreciated too. We all want to be enabled. I understand that takes a little bit more work, so if it doesn't happen, it's not going to disqualify you, but I always enjoy pictures. So tell us what project you would knit, use, and need to use this DPN wrapper, and that'll get you eligible to win. And then when we record next Sunday, we'll close the thread and then use a random number generator to pull for a winner, and we'll ship it off to you. So there's that. So thank you so much, Sue, for donating that to the podcast and to give Callie and myself one. We really appreciate it. I don't do a whole lot of work on DPNs anymore, but the next time I do, I'll make sure. I've had it sitting here on my desk for about a month now, so a little over. So I'll make sure to let you guys know more once I actually get around to using it. Alright, so a round of applause. Last week, Callie and I reviewed Spilly Jane Knits Mittens by Spilly Jane. And this was generously given to us by Cooperative Press to review. And as always, they gave us a copy to give away to you all. We did open a thread asking you what pattern would you knit from the book first. And I used the random number generator on my phone to pull for a winner. There was 66 posts in the thread, so I drew between numbers 2 through 66, and I pulled number 12, which is Kovaljka, Koviljka, who is Kim from Chicago. So I was really happy to see that she won. She is actually has done some sample knitting for Leading Men Fiber Arts in the past and in the current right now, actually. So she said that she would knit the plain blue mitts out of some scraps, and she would also knit the penguin mittens out of some other yarn she has. So love that you would do the penguin mittens. So Kim, please shoot me an email via Ravelry to Dramatic Knits and let me know that you are aware that you heard of this, and then I will let my contact at Cooperative Press know, and they'll gift you the book. So congratulations, and thank you everyone who entered. If you did not win, which is 65 of you who entered in the contest, really, 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 if you are a mitten knitter, if you're a colorwork lover, go out and get the book. It's a great price. Alright, I do want to remind you that if you were knitting for the patterns you've been gifted knit along, that ends today, so you have to get all of your finished objects posted to the thread sometime today, January 31st, if you have not done so. In the morning, Callie will close that thread at some point. So if the thread's open, you can post your finished objects. Once it's been closed, sorry about your luck, Chuck, right? So if it's not a pattern that you've been gifted, it can be a pattern from a book or magazine from your personal library or your local library, and that will also get you an entry into the drawing. It must have been cast on or after January 1st, 2016, and of course you have to get it in before the thread closes today, or tomorrow morning, really. If you use any basic Leading Men Fiber Arts, you can post the FO picture twice to get 2 entries in the drawing. Somebody's already done that. And then next week, we will draw for some winners, and it looks like right now we're going to have 1 prize, and I don't think we've pulled for that yet, so we'll see what that is next week. Alright, we do want to encourage you to enter all your finished objects that you finished in the month of January into the January 2016 Race to the Finished Object contest. This month we have 2 wonderful prizes. The first is some Shalimar Yarns Breathless Cush, which is a wonderful, I believe, merino silk cashmere bulky weight. I have a skein in the black truffle colorway and a little mini ball of the Neptune colorway that I've knit with. Somebody will win that, and then somebody else will win a pattern of their choice from our featured designer, who is Megan Sanders. And then next month I have not pulled for the prize, but the thread will open tomorrow. We'll have a Yarny prize as well, and then we will also have another featured or another pattern from our featured designer, who continues to be Megan Sanders. So keep an eye out for that. If you have not joined the Dramatic Knits Ravelry group, please come on over and do so. We'd appreciate it. Alright, so that's pretty much it for our regularly scheduled show, keeping it to about a half hour. I have a few things to show you for Leading Men Fiber Arts, so if you usually go away, you might as well stick around for just another minute or two. So we're going to move into the center stage section. I don't have any new shows to tell you about. Andy and I did look at like a potential 8 new shows this week, and we have narrowed it down, I believe, to 2 or 3 that we may apply for. What we realized was when I pulled for those shows, we would be traveling for about 2 months straight every weekend, and while that is possible, that takes a lot of work on our part. That gives us pretty much no time off, and we'd be taking a lot of time off from our day jobs, which we still currently have. So we decided there was a lot we couldn't do right now. We've got shows scheduled about every other week through April and May, which are my last 2 months of work for the school year. So I don't want to overdo it. So I gotta still do my real job, right? So the first show coming up, though, is the Knitting Pipeline Retreat, Spring Retreat here in Washington, Illinois. I'll be vending there at the end of January. So that's the first show coming up. And then we'll have March off, I believe. I don't think we have anything scheduled for March currently. Don't forget we got the Totally Tubular Knit-Along going on in the Leading Men Fiber Arts group on Ravelry. Basically, the gist of this is you take a skein of Leading Men Fiber Arts, doesn't matter what weight, what colorway, what you use as long as it's Leading Men Fiber Arts, and you provisionally cast on in the round a certain number of stitches, whatever that may be. You knit in the round, make a tube, graft the 2 ends together, and make it into a cowl. That's it. So we do have some people working diligently on that. I don't think we have any FOs yet. I'm still working on mine. You saw it previously in the show. That project must have been cast on or after January 1st, 2016 again, and it must be completed by February 29th, 2016. You must be a member of the group. 1 post per finished object, please. And the prize for that will be a $20 gift certificate to Leading Men Fiber Arts. So, all right, I think that was it. Other than showing you the few things we have left that were updated this week that haven't sold yet. So, in fiber, we had 2 braids, I believe, of Superfine Merino in the Venetian Sunset colorway. So feltable, not superwash, just superfine, but it is super fine. And then we had 2 skeins of Showcase, one in Kaleidoscope and the other in Turkey Run. So this was the September colorway of the month and the November colorway of the month. And Showcase is 100% superwash merino, fingering to light fingering, weight 490 yards and 100 grams. So check those out in the shop at leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com. And I did forget to bring up the colorway of the month. If you are not following it for February, if you're not following us on Instagram, you need to follow us on Instagram or join our Facebook group or our Ravelry group or all 3. Why not? That's the best place to follow us. Tomorrow I will be premiering our February colorway of the month, which is called Steady Beat. It is 2 different shades of red and pink. And it's beautiful. We did it for the Armed Forces Fiber Fanatics sock club, charity sock club for December, and we decided we wanted to carry it over into February and make it our colorway of the month. So check that out. We'll have it on every single base we carry this time, and the pre-orders will be up through February 1st through February 8th. They will ship out no later than the end of February, but probably much sooner than that. And I think that's it. So if you are watching on YouTube, please leave us a star rating or a written review. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and then give us a thumbs up. I'd greatly appreciate it. I told you where to find us on Ravelry, the Leading Men Fiber Arts group, the Dramatic Knits group. And if you have any questions, you can always email me via Ravelry at Dramatic Knits. So until next week, I hope you knit something dramatic.